Hello everyone, my name is Jaybird and welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon. Without any further ado, let's get right back to where we left off last time. And right here. Sorry, my throat's been hurting lately, so I might sound weird. Also, my nose is a little stuffy, but I don't know. I might sound weird. I don't know. I haven't spoken at all today until just now, so it sounds kind of weird to me. Anyways, moonlight spills through the leaves, illuminating the forest with a gentle light. Long minutes pass, and as I stand in the clearing, I begin to feel restless. It isn't like Claude to be late. Is he tending to his injury? I hear rustling in the leaves and turn immediately to see what the disturbance is. But the minute I do, I am pulled back by a strong force, and my world goes dark. What? Before I can scream, I hear a gentle voice in my ears. Lesson 1, Jaybird. I think this is Claude. Lesson 1, Jaybird. When apprehended by an enemy that you can't see, remain calm and use your 5 senses to judge how best to get the upper hand. This voice is coming from right behind me. Yep. No, we're gonna hide. No, not that. I keep forgetting the controls on this. Turn. There we go. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this glorious moment. Oops. Okay. This glorious moment gets a screenshot because it's gorgeous. Hold on. Almost done. Almost there. And save. Fantastic. Okay. Claude? I've become aware that this is the closest he's ever been to me, with my back pressed to his chest like this. Panicking disorients the mind. That is why you must remain cool under any circumstance. How could I not panic? Any normal person would panic. Still, I try to force myself to be calm. Lesson 2. Enemies will often let down the guards when they think they have the upper hand. Catch your opponent off guard by remaining calm and locating this weakness with your senses. I try to calm myself as Claude instructs, and I feel it is a bit easier, but only because I know it is Claude. An opening. I move as quickly as I can, stepping forward so that I can swing an elbow back at Claude's stomach. Before that happens, Claude has pulled me back to him, closing whatever distance I had put between us. In the process, he moves his hand from my eyes to my mouth. I can once again see the forest, but my words are muffled beneath his hand. Another thing to remember, you won't always be able to catch your enemy off guard by throwing punches or hits at them. Your opponent will usually always be stronger than you, Jaybird. Remember what I said about a weakness. Enemies will often let their guards down when they believe they are winning. Just like I have. An opening? A thought occurs to me as I glance around me and then down at Karma's bandaged hand. Karma's bandaged hand is over my mouth. Is this an opportunity or a trick? What will you do, princess? What kind of tactic would remove you from my grasp? It says on my guide to bite his hand, and I feel awful about this, but I have to. I'm going to feel terrible about this, but I have to try. I try to shift my head to get enough space to bite down, and even Claude cannot hold me completely still as I squirm. Eventually, the hand over my mouth moves just enough for me to open my mouth, but I falter. Cannot bite the hand that I injured. Unable to do anything else, I mutely shake my head and hear Cloud groan. In one swift motion, he pushes me down to the ground. Oh, what? Pinning my hands behind my head as he frowns at me. You're not even going to try and find an opening? You're not even going to try to find an opening. I glared at him. I am not going to bite your hand. Bite my hand? I didn't even think of that. But you made it obvious. You put your hand over my mouth. I'd meant for you to try moving my hand. Pushing back a person's thumb usually causes their grip to loosen. How was I supposed to know that? I was right. Experience is the best means of practice, as they say. I have a complaint about that particular lesson, but I withhold it. That was a pretty good attempt, love, but not good enough, I'm afraid. I wasn't expecting you to come at me like that. I was expecting sword practice. You weren't expecting a man to kidnap you in the alleyway, were you? I can't talk today. You weren't expecting a man to kidnap you in the alleyway, were you? I glare up at him, unable to say anything because he is right. You're oddly quiet. It is hard to find an opening to hurt you when you are not really my enemy. He does not move, but continues to stare at me. His face is close to mine. Close enough to what exactly? Oh. Jaybird, do you trust me to protect you? That's not the point. I need to be able to protect myself. Because you're planning on investigating It's so hard to talk! Because you're planning on investigating the witches on your own? No, I want to be able to protect myself because I do not want you getting hurt protecting me. Claude leans down and I can feel his hair at my cheek. Oh! For a few moments, everything slows to a stop, and all I can hear is my heartbeat and his slow breathing. Once you set your mind to something, you can't... Once you set your mind to something, you don't let go, do you? Do you? Claude pulls away from me before I can respond, and he's standing again, offering me a hand. Let's get started with some sword work, then. The pleasant smile is back on his face. I can never tell what he's thinking at times like these. What are you really like, Claude? Ooh. Oh, chapter 7. Thorny Rose. When I returned to the margin later that night, my hands are scratched and I think I might have bruises on my arms. Claude was not joking when he said he would not go easy on me. But he did compliment me more than once. Jaybird, I've hit you quite a few times and you haven't uttered a single complaint. Impressive. Crying is for the weak. Though everyone should be sleeping, I notice that the light is still on at the tavern. I see Jern and Garland up at a table, speaking with each other and laughing. If Claude had come back with me, he would be happy to see this. You two are still up? They are not even surprised when they turn to face me. Good days like this are even better when stretched. I haven't been off duty in a long time. Did you both have a good time tonight? It was great. Garland knows these little places in the town that I've never even heard of before. I noticed that Jern is more energetic than usual, her smile a little wider than normal. I wonder if she's drunk. I'm going to get another drink. Another drink? Garland leans in toward me, his voice hushed. We already bought a replacement bottle when we were out today. We would never take anything from the margin without money. right. Is Durin drunk? Oh no, princess. Tipsy. It's like a buzz. Fades a lot quicker. Oh. Garland and I watch Durin as she refills her glass at the bar. I have to thank you, princess. I would never have asked her out if you and Carmen hadn't insisted on it. So you told her? Garland looks at me with a pleased smile. I'll take that as a yes. She didn't really realize until much later. I just asked her out for food, and she thought that's all it was. Maybe Durin really did need to be told bluntly. What happened? I, told her, and we talked and remembered old times. He sounds like an old man. And I held her hand. I noticed Garland flinch ever so slightly, but he is smiling. He looks pleased with himself. And the night's not over yet, so... He trails off with a hopeful smile. Whoa! Before he raises his eyebrows at me. What about you and Karma? What about us? I've asked him to... What about us? I've asked him to train me. Train? Princess, you've asked him to teach you how to use a sword? What's this? Our princess is going to pick up a sword? Durin returns to the table in it, but I am too tired to properly join in the conversation. I should leave them to their conversation and head to bed. I need to get some rest if I want to start practicing at night. I excuse myself to head upstairs. Oh. I am startled awake by an excruciatingly bright light. It is momentary, and when it's It is momentary, and when it is over, I am sitting in my bed, dazed and confused. My eyes burn. My hand flies to the pendant around my neck, where I see the second glass slipper with another piece. Ooh. There's another piece! But when did I do another good deed? I grasp the necklace tightly in my hand as I make my way to the tavern. Everyone is doing their pre-morning chores when I get to the tavern area. I notice Karma glaring off into space, and then not far from him, the two knights. They haven't been up all night, have they? I make my way slowly over to them. Even back then, you were like some kind of shadow, weren't you? You don't have to hide it. It was obvious you were tailing me back then. It was only because I was worried about you. I realized you really didn't have to follow me, Lan, but I'm glad you did. Lan? Same. Durin. Oh, shush. Fritz used to call you that too. Lan is Garland's childhood nickname. He still gets embarrassed when I call him that. I see, so what are you two talking about? Oh, we were just reminiscing. I look at the two of them critically for a few moments, waiting for them to say something. They both exchange a glance before looking at me confused. Well? Well, what? How did your date go last night? Garland makes a sound and turns beet red. Durin's eyebrows quirk, and then she laughs. Oh, that. It went well. So well, in fact, that you can see that the two of us are still very much enjoying each other's company. Durin is usually busy, taking her rounds around the margin with a scowl on her face. She looks happier being here with Garland, more relaxed. You might even say that we're dating. Isn't it funny how red he gets, princess? You were blushing just as much yesterday when I... One more word, Lan, and I swear I'll punch you! The two of them are both blushing now, and the scene is oddly comical. Who knew that the two great knights of the Order of Caldera could be so easily done? Both of you are amusing to watch. The two of them stare at me, suddenly sullen-faced. I suddenly remember that one conversation the knights all had at the castle. They were talking about how they all had personal reasons for being knights, despite the fact that they all served the king. I had always thought Jordan and Garland were stoic and honorable, that their only reason for becoming knights was a sense of justice. Seeing them here, though, without that stoic facade, they feel more like people. My curiosity is piqued. Do you mind if I ask what your reasons were for becoming knights? Oh, my father was a knight. He put his life on the line for this kingdom. Jordan's father was a living legend in his own right, and he had the medals to back it up. My father wasn't around a lot, but I always admired him. Judging by the look on Jordan's face, it is clear to me that she really loves her father. My mother died when I was young, and because my father couldn't be around all the time to take care of me, I ended up practically living with Lan and his family. Lan always got annoyed when I called him my brother. Now I know why. Jordan wanted to follow in her father's footsteps. Then why did you join the Knights, Garland? Because he wanted to watch over me. I never knew you blushed so easily, Garland. Garland seems to blush even harder at that, and Jordan's laughter becomes infectious. I feel amusement begin to bubble up as I watch the two of them. But a cold voice cuts through the laughter in the atmosphere like a hot blade through ice. Could you keep it down over there? I turn and see that Claude's eyes, normally so warm or cold, his usual smile is gone, replaced with a deep scowl. Oh, we're sorry. He's still glaring at the two of them. I can tell him about the necklace. Karma, I got another piece to my necklace. Another good deed. Claude turns his gaze to me, but the frown doesn't disappear. That's nice, darling. His voice is calm but flat and lacks any enthusiasm. That felt lackluster and oddly disappointing. A good deed? Congratulations, Princess. You're close to breaking your curse. What did you get the good deed for? I am not sure exactly, actually. Maybe it was for helping Lan confess. I hear you and Karma went out of your way to help make it happen. That happened yesterday, though. Maybe the magic was waiting to see what became of Garland and I? Claude makes a dismissive hand gesture from his table, frowning. If you two insist on being so affectionate, you should get a room. Oh no. Affectionate? Jordan's smile has faded away into a dangerous scowl, where Garland looks confused. Jordan looks notably irritated. The shadow is still there on his face. Yeah, I can see that! Claude does not look okay at all. Well, my guide says to scold him instead of comfort him, so I'll scold him. It doesn't matter if something's bothering him. It isn't like him to be so rude. Irritation is no excuse for rudeness. Fine, I apologize. Happy? He looks at me for a few moments, his expression twisted into a defiant scowl, but it doesn't hold long. Moments later, his expression softens and he looks away, almost in shame. I'm sorry. This apology sounds real, but still. Woo! Why do I feel so disappointed? Silence descends for a few moments before Claude abruptly stands up from his table. Excuse me. Claude turns briskly and heads upstairs, leaving me with the two knights. I wonder what's wrong with him. You think we've been running him too thin because of practice? I do not think it's you two. I get the feeling that Claude holds himself back from saying what he means sometimes. Sometimes he acts strange, distant. And recently, he's getting more and more moody.
Princess?
I look over at Annis, who's smiling apologetically.
Sorry to interrupt, but Mr. Broom is getting kind of restless.
Time to sweep, I suppose.
It's sweeping time. Gotta sweep, sweep, sweep.
I love that. It's sweeping time. Gotta sweep, sweep, sweep. Freaking Baldi's Basics in Education and Learning, Mr. Broom. Well, maybe cleaning up will get... Or is it Mr. Sweep? I think it's Mr. Sweep. Well, maybe cleaning will help get my mind off of things. The rest of the day goes by slowly. I am stuck cleaning most of the day, and then serving later. At one point, I speak with Delora about the knights that had attempted to kidnap me, and she tells me that she and Parfait are meeting later to discuss their suspicions. I still do not understand what their suspicions are when Sir Alcaster cannot possibly know who I am. My hands are sore by the end of the night, but I still feel like I can practice with a sword. I notice that both Jurin and Garland look restless too. Garland eventually leaves for patrol, while Jurin remains at a table, looking deep in thought. I do not want to bother her, so I decide to try and find Claude. I go to his room, but find that the door is locked. Claude? Karma? Are we training tonight? No answer. My heart sinks. Is he not speaking to me? Did I do something wrong? For days, Claude stayed in his room, only leaving when he had to be on patrol. A few times I saw Parfait go into his room, but she refuses to talk about what is bothering him. I feel so useless. When Claude did appear in the tavern or out in the town, he still had that terrible grimace on his face. Look, I really don't want to talk right now. If you're so frustrated with me, why not just ignore me? No, I'm not going to train tonight. I'm not in the right state of mind. I don't want to talk about it. Just leave me alone. Please. I am really beginning to worry about him. Today I am in town running errands with Waltz for Parfait. Well guys, that's gonna be it for this episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. If you enjoyed this episode of Cinderella Phenomenon, leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell, and remember, die safely. Bye-bye!